in this lecture I am going to discuss particle confined in a two-dimensional box. We all know that how to solve Schrodinger equation for one-dimensional problem. Okay, we derived the expression for energy, we derived the expression for wave function, okay, and we also discussed some of the important features. Okay, using those ideas, I am going to proceed now with the particle confined in a 2D box. Okay, so in 2D box, that is say particle moving in a plane. Say for example, let me consider the particle moving in XY plane. Okay, particle is moving in XY plane, and now I am going to make some confinement. So this is the origin. Let us take let us assume that the particle is confined to move up to some length, say L. Okay, particle is confined to move up to a length L, right? Similarly, here also I am going to here also I am going to assume the particle is confined to move up to some distance, say L. Okay, L, so that you'll get exactly a square box. Okay, so let us assume the particle is confined length L along x-axis. Similarly, the particle is confined along the y-axis also with the same length L. So if the two length, the confinement on x-axis and y-axis are equal, you will get a square box. Okay, assume that the particle is present only inside the box, it cannot jump out. That means the potential energy on the wall, so here we have wall, here we have wall, here we have wall, so here we have wall. Okay, so the potential energy on the wall and outside the wall is infinite. Potential energy on the wall and outside the wall is infinite. Therefore, the particle cannot jump out. And I am also going to assume the particle as a free particle. Okay, so let us assume the particle, okay, which is actually a microscopic particle. This particle has, say, some mass m. Let the mass of the particle be m. Right? It is a microscopic particle. It may be electron, or it may be any molecule or any atom. Okay, so it is a microscopic particle for which the mass is m. Then I am also assuming the particle as a free particle. You know very well, free particle means there is no external force acting on the particle. Okay, so since the particle is a free particle, you can say that potential energy is constant. For our convenience, you can also assume the potential energy as 0. Okay, now first let us consider a particle in a square two-dimensional box. We'll discuss about this first. So it is, I am taking a square box first. Square box. Okay, first let us take a square box. Once we finish this, we'll take a rectangular box. Rectangular box means the x-axis length and y-axis length become different. Okay, if x-axis length and y-axis length are different, you'll get a rectangular box. We'll discuss about rectangular box once we finish this. Okay, now since potential energy is constant, or it is assumed to be 0, so I am going to assume potential energy inside the square as 0. If you assume potential energy as 0 inside the box, then we can get the energy and wave function by solving the time independent Schrodinger equation. So I am going to take time independent Schrodinger equation. This is sufficient because potential energy is independent of time now. Time independent Schrodinger Schrodinger's equation. Okay, so what is the equation? The simplest form is this H operator, Hamiltonian operator, acting on the function psi. Now the wave function psi depends on two variables, x and y. It depends on two variables. Okay, So if you apply the operator on psi, you will get the same function psi multiplied by some constant. Since we are applying Hamiltonian operator, the constant should be energy. Okay, you will get the same energy. You will get the energy of that particle. Okay. Now how to solve this Schrodinger equation? Listen, the Hamiltonian operator, you know very well, it consists of two parts, kinetic energy operator and potential energy operator. Since potential energy is 0, we can consider only kinetic energy here, because potential energy is 0, therefore Hamiltonian operator equal to kinetic energy operator in this case, right? And what is the kinetic energy for two-dimensional motion? Minus h bar square by 2m into dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square. This is the kinetic energy operator in two dimension. And since we have assumed potential energy is 0, you need not consider that. So into the wave function psi. You need not put psi x comma y again and again. Okay, keep this in mind. Psi depends on two variables x and y hereafter. Okay, so e into here also we put psi. Right now, what I'm going to do, I'll bring this minus h bar square by 2m to that side, or you can also multiply both side by minus 2m by h bar square. If you multiply left hand side and right hand side by this, what will happen? H bar square cancel, 2m cancel, minus become plus. So in the left hand side we'll get dou square. I'll bring the wave function inside. Dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square, okay, equal to, if you multiply by this with this quantity, I'll get minus 2me over h bar square into psi. We'll get an equation like this. Now listen, for a given particle, mass is a constant, mass is fixed. If you assume the particle is present in a particular state, it may be in ground state or it may be in any one of the excited state, okay, right, at a given state, right, or as long as the particle present in a particular state, okay, the energy of the particle remains constant. Okay, so let me write here, mass is fixed, right? Assume if particle is present in a particular state, then E also become constant. Okay, as long as the particle present in the same state, right? As long as particle present in the same state, energy also constant. Therefore, this quantity 2 mass E, right, mass constant, E constant, 2 is constant, and this is reduced to Planck's constant, it is also constant. So everything is constant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace these constants, okay, by another constant, say k square. Okay, see what I'm saying, 2me by h bar square is taken as k square, where k square is a constant. Right now we don't know what about the values of k square and all. Okay, yeah, whether it is a quantized value or it can take any possible value, that and all we don't know right now. Okay, I'll take some constant. Okay, k square is some constant. Now under this situation we can write the equation dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square. Yeah, so I'll replace this by k square, so you'll get minus k square into psi. Okay, so let me write it as minus k square into psi. Yeah, so this is the differential equation we get. Now what we have to do, we need to solve the equation, but the problem in this differential equation is that this function psi, it is not depend on one variable, it is actually depend on two variables. Whenever function depends on two variables, okay, we cannot solve this, or it is very difficult to solve this as such. So what we have to do, we have a technique in mathematics called method of separation of variables. Okay, so if you want to solve this type of differential equation, we have to adopt a method called method of, so I am going to adopt method of separation of variables. We are going to follow this technique now. Okay, see, as per this technique, the wave function psi, which depends on two variables x and y, okay, can be separated into two functions. Okay, it can be separated into two functions. One is x and another one is y. X and y are functions. Now this function x depends only on the variable x, and this function y depends only on the variable y. Okay, so I have separated the function psi into two functions, capital X, capital Y. Okay, I'll take this as equation number 1. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to substitute in the place of psi, I'm going to put this x and y. Okay, so what will happen, right? So therefore the above equation become dou square. So this equation dou square, instead of psi I'll put this capital X, capital Y into dou x square. Similarly here, dou square by dou y square, instead of psi I'll put this x and y. Okay, and here also minus k square, instead of psi I'll put this x and y. We'll get an equation like this. Now see here, this operator dou square by dou x square, this operator is an operator which acts only on the function which depends on variable x. Repeat, this operator acts on the function which depends on the variable x. So you know very well this function x depends on the variable x, whereas the y is dependent on variable y. Therefore this operator does not operate on y, so you can take it out. Therefore you can keep y out, so you will get dou square x by dou x square, plus similarly here if I apply the operator to this function, okay, this operator acts only on y, it does not operate on x, so you can keep x out. X into dou square y by dou y square equal to minus k square x into y. Right, now I will divide throughout the equation by xy. If I divide throughout the equation by xy, what will happen? So I will divide here by xy, here by xy, here by xy. So if I divide this by xy, y cancel, you will get 1 by x into dou square x by dou x square, plus similarly here if I divide by xy, x cancel, you will get 1 by y into dou square y by dou y square equal to minus k square. So this is the equation we get by using this method of separation of variables. Now see, this equation is very important. Here we need to understand something. See, right hand side is a constant. You know very well k square is a constant here, but in the left hand side, see here I have x, some quantity which depends on the variable x, and here I have some quantity which depends on variable y. Right, but left hand side and right hand side should be equal. That means if right hand side is constant, left hand side must also be constant. Therefore what I'm going to do, I'm going to equate this to a constant, say I'll equate this to a constant, say minus kx square, and I'll equate this to a constant, say minus ky square. Okay, these two must be constant, then only the sum of these two should be equal to here, this. Okay, so here this minus kx square minus ky square, if you add them, you will get the value of k square. Okay, see what I'm trying to say. Let me write in the next page. Listen. So what I'm trying to say here is minus kx square and minus ky square, if you add them, you will get minus k square. Or I can say kx square plus ky square equal to k square. Right? Yeah. So if you use this idea here, so now this become equal to minus kx square. Let me write here. So therefore 1 by x, in order to make this equation valid, okay, you must put this quantity to a constant minus kx square, and you must put this quantity to a constant minus ky square. Okay, so this is equal to minus kx square. I'll write here 1 by x into dou square x by dou x square equal to minus kx square. Similarly here 1 by y, this quantity 1 by y into dou square y by dou y square equal to minus ky square. Okay, I'll bring this quantity to the left hand side, or we can do like this. Bring this capital X to the right hand side. Here it is in divide, so bring it to the right hand side. You'll get d square x by dx square. I'm changing this partial derivative now to full derivative, because now the function x depends only on one variable x. Okay, the entire equation depends only on one variable x, so you need not put partial derivative, you can put full derivative. So d square x by dx square equal to minus kx square into x. Bring this to the left hand side, so you can write this as d square x by dx square plus kx square capital X equal to 0. Okay, I'll take this as equation number. Let me take this as equation number 2 and this as equation number 3. Similarly here, if you bring this y to the right hand side, you will get d square y by dy square equal to minus ky square into y. Bring this term to the left hand side, right? If you bring it to the left hand side, you will get d square y by dy square plus ky square into y equal to 0. This is another differential equation we need to solve. Let me take this as equation number 4. Now if you observe the equation 3 and 4 carefully, okay, this equation is very familiar for us. Why? This is nothing but particle in 1D box equation. Okay, these two equations are exactly similar, okay, for particle in 1D box, right? So by applying the boundary conditions, right, what is the boundary condition? The wave function become 0 at x equal to 0. This is first boundary condition, and applying the second boundary condition, wave function become 0 at x equal to L. Right? Applying these two boundary condition, we can get the expression for energy and the expression for wave function. Okay, what's the wave function we'll get? I'm going to give you the final expression, because particle in 1D box problem we have already discussed, so I'm not going to waste time there. So let me give the equation directly. Therefore the x, that is the wave function which depends on the variable small x, equal to square root of 2 over L into sine, you'll get a quantum number nx pi by L into x. Okay, and here if I put kx square in the equation, finally you will get here, keep this in mind, kx should be equal to nx pi by L. You know, in 1D box, if you go through 1D box, okay, you might have seen this type of relations, right? So if you get this relation, then this can be equated to energy, right? Yeah, well, let me write this first, then I'll write the energy expression separately. Okay. Similarly, here if you apply the boundary condition, say when y equal to 0, the wave function becomes 0, and when y equal to L, the wave function again becomes 0. Using these two boundary condition, we can solve the differential equation, and we can get the normalized wave function y as square root of 2 by L into sine. You will get another quantum number here, that is ny pi by L into x. Okay. Similarly here ky should be equal to ny pi by L. Right. So these two are the wave functions which depends on, one depends on x variable, the other one depends only on y variable. Okay. Here the quantum number nx can take value 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Similarly here also the quantum number ny can take value 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Since nx and ny can take only certain allowed values, kx and ky also can take only allowed values, certain allowed values. Okay, right. Therefore, since kx is related to the k, right? Kx and ky are related to k, and k is related to energy, therefore energy also quantized. See what I'm trying to say? Let me write in the next page. Yeah, see what I'm trying to say is that, see, we know k square equal to kx square plus ky square. Okay, right? And we also know that 2me by h bar square is equal to k square. Right? Now what I'm going to do, 2me by h bar square equal to, in the place of k square I'll put this, that is kx square plus ky square, because this is equal to these two, right? Now listen, we have two terms here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to split the total energy into two parts. How? 2m by h bar square, I'm going to split the total energy into two parts. One depends on the x quantum number. Okay, let me put first x, ex, and the energy, second one depends on y coordinate. Okay, so you can split this into two parts. Okay, yeah, so this is the idea. Or we can also write directly. Okay, from this equation we can also write directly. How? See, instead of splitting like this, we can also write directly. How? See, 2me by h bar square equal to kx square, ky square are there. What is kx square? Yes, nx pi by kx is nx pi by l. Kx square is square of this, plus ky square is ny pi by l and square of this. Okay, right? So this is alternative route. You can substitute like this so that you will get the energy directly. Right? Now I'll bring 2m by h bar square to the right hand side. So we can write energy E equal to h bar square by 2m. Okay, into here you can write this as nx square pi square by l square. Similarly, this one as ny square pi square by l square. You can write like this. Now pi square by l square is common here, so you can take it out. Therefore, energy equal to h bar square pi square by 2ml square into nx square plus ny square. Right? And remember, nx and ny are quantum numbers. They can take only certain allowed values, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? And we know very well h bar or h cross is nothing but h by 2 pi. So h bar square equal to h square by 4 pi square. If I substitute this here, pi square cancels. Okay, and 4 into 2 become 8. So you will get an expression for energy as E equal to h square pi square cancel 8ml square into nx square plus ny square. You will get an energy expression like this. Now see, it is very clear that h, m, 8, m, l are all, these are all constant. Okay, they are all fixed values. They have fixed values. Only that the quantum numbers will change depending upon the state. Right? Therefore, energy depends on the quantum number nx and ny. Energy depends on two quantum numbers nx and ny. So depending upon the values that the quantum number takes, you will get different quantized energy values. Right? So this is the energy expression for particle confined in a square two-dimensional box. Okay, energy expression for the particle confined in a square two-dimensional box. Right? Yes. Now let me go to the wave function. See, we got the two wave function capital X and capital Y. Capital X, which depends on the variable small x, equal to square root of 2 by L into sine nx pi by L into x, and the quantum number and the wave function y, and the function y can be given as square root of 2 by L into sine ny pi by L into x. Okay, if you multiply these two, you will get the total wave function as per equation number 1. Okay, so what is the wave function? Psi x comma y equal to, yes, you have to multiply these two, root 2 by L, root 2 by L. If you multiply, you will get 2 by L, you will get 2 by L into sine nx pi by L into x into sine ny pi by L into y. So this is the expression for general expression for the wave function, which is applicable for all the states. Okay, this is the general expression for the wave function of particle confined in a square 2D box. Square 2D box. Okay, right. We'll see some of the important features of this wave function in the next lecture, but in this lecture we'll focus on energy expression. Okay, yeah. So let me consider energy here. So we know very well the energy for particle in particle confined in a square 2D box is energy depends on two quantum numbers nx and ny, is given as h square by 8ml square into nx square into nx square plus ny square. This is the energy expression, right, for a particle confined in a square two-dimensional box. Now what I'm going to do, how the different quantized energies are actually exist, okay, that we have to understand. So for that I'm going to make a plot here. This is the energy. Okay, this is the energy, right? Now you know very well nx and ny can take only certain allowed values. What are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Similarly here 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So the lowest number for nx and ny should be 1 and 1. Okay, so in the place of nx I'll put 1, in the place of ny I'll put 1. I'll get the lowest possible energy. Okay, if I put 1 here, 1 square is 1, 1 square is 1, 1 plus 1 2, so you'll get 2 times h square by 8ml square. Okay, so I'll get a state here. Let me write here. I'll get a state here for which the quantum number nx is 1 and ny also 1, right? And what is the energy for this level? Let us take this level energy as energy of the ground level. Energy of the ground level, which is given as 2 times h square by 8ml square. I am not going to cancel these numbers. Let's keep this h square by 8ml square as such. So this is the energy of the ground level. Okay, E1. You know very well, while deriving this expression, we did not mention anything about energy, the temperature. Okay, that means here we are working out with the 0 Kelvin. So these energies, right, these energies that I am going to show here, all depends on all are working out, or all are considered at temperature of 0 Kelvin. See, at low temperature the ground state energy is not 0. Ground state energy is not 0, not low temperature, I'm sorry. At 0 Kelvin, the energy of the ground state is not 0. That means the ground state possesses some energy which is nothing but 0 point energy of the molecule. 0 point energy of the particle in confined in a square 2D box, right? Now if you go to the next level, for next level what you have to do, you have to increase the nx and ny. But what I am going to, I will first increase nx and I will keep ny as such. That is what I am saying. Take nx as 2 and ny as 1. If I take nx as 2 and ny as 1, I will get a state. Okay, I will get a wave function, right? If you substitute these values here, you will get the energy as, right? If you substitute these values as, you will get E2. This is the energy of the first excited level. E2 equal to, put nx as 2 here. So 2 square is 4, nx is ny is 1, 1 square is 1, 4 plus 1 5. So you will get 5 times h square by 8ml square. Or I can write, yeah, so 5 times h square by 8ml square, right? So this is the state where nx is 2, ny is 1, right? But here alternatively you keep nx 1, put ny equal to 2. Keep nx is 1 and ny equal to 2. Listen, if I put nx 2, ny 1, I'll get a wave function. Right? I'll get a wave function. This is a wave function when I put the quantum number 2 and 1, and if I put quantum number 1 and 2, these two wave functions are not same, they are different. These two wave functions are not same. So that means 2, 1 represent a state, 1, 2 represent a different state. But if you substitute these values here, the energies are same. So 2, 1 state and 1, 2 state, they have same energy. Okay, they have same energy, but their wave functions are different. Right? You know very well, if 2 or more states having different wave function but have same energy, we call them as degenerate states. Okay, so in this energy level, 2 states have same energy, so we call this level as doubly degenerate level. Doubly degenerate, because 2 states have same energy, doubly degenerate. Whereas the ground state, we have only 1 state. Okay, we call this as a non-degenerate state. We call this as non-degenerate state. Non-degenerate means singly degenerate. Non-degenerate level. This is non-degenerate level, whereas this is doubly degenerate level. Okay, and what is the gap? What is the gap between these two? This is 5 times h square by 8ml square. This is 2 times h square by 8ml square. So the gap is 3 times h square by 8ml square. Okay, so keep this in mind, very, very important. Now, let me go to the next level. For next level, we have to increase the quantum number again. So now you put 2, 2. If you put both quantum number 2 and 2, 2 square is 4, 2 square is 4, so you'll get 8. Okay, so the next level is having energy 8h square by 8 times, let me write here. The next state is the 2, 2 state, for which the energy is, this is actually first excited state, excited energy level, and the second excited energy level. For a second excited energy level, the energy is 8 times h square by 8ml square. Okay, and the second excited energy level is again a non-degenerate level, because we have only 1 state. So this is a non-degenerate state or non-degenerate energy level. Okay, and what's the gap? The gap between these two, see, 8 minus 5, you'll get 3 times h square by 8ml square. See, this gap and this gap are equal, but don't come to the conclusion that all energy levels are equally spaced. No, here we have 2 quantum numbers. The quantum numbers, suppose if quantum numbers take same value 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, then the energy gap keep on increases. Okay, like particle in one dimensional box. We can give general formula, but here the quantum numbers can take different values also, 1, 2, 2, 1, right? So those quantum numbers are also allowed. Therefore, we cannot give a general expression for the energy gap of particle in 2D box, right? So what is the next level? The next level has energy say 3, 2, right? If I take 3, 2, what will I get? 3 square is 9, 2 square is 4, so 9 plus 4, 13. What about 3, 1? 3, 1, 9 square, 3 square is 9, 1 square 1, 10. So this is supposed to be the lower energy. Okay, so the next state is supposed to be 3, 1 and 1, 3. These two states have same energy, and the energy value for this is this is the energy of the third excited level, and energy for this level is given as E4. E4 equal to 3 square 9, 1 square 1, so 9 plus 1, 10, so 10 times h square by 8ml square. Just notice this carefully. Here the gap is 2 times, right? This is 10, this is 8, so 2 times h square by 8ml square, right? So gap will decrease, sometime it will increase, sometime decrease. We cannot give a general expression for this type of system. Okay, but this is how the energy, right, exists for a particle confined in a square 2D box, right? Yeah, so keep this in mind. We'll discuss about the wave function in the next class, and we'll we will also see some of the important features of particle confined in a two-dimensional square box by next class. Okay, thank you.